A lot of people are going to be disappointed that I'm going to share this little secret right now, but it's getting to be a pretty popular little technique, bait style that's really been quite dominant on the pro bass fishing scene over the past year. So it's sort of a Japanese bait, the fuzzy dice, and it's a bait that I think those guys have kept secret for a few years, and it's sort of, we're all finding out it's pretty deadly. So the little baits are hard to get, the original ones. So I started making a few this summer, just using some Z-Man plastic, which I think it's the best because it's buoyant, and we're using these baits on a drop shot, and so it just floats up off the bottom. And I'm going to show you how good they work, but I'm going to show you how I make one. So basically, you know, you can use a piece of a Ned, any of the Ned baits, and we're going to just get a little chunk like maybe an inch long, maybe not quite. The TRDs usually I'll make into like three different chunks. But so what's involved here, we've got the little piece of plastic, we've got some silicone skirting, and we've got a little threading tool here. So I'm just going to push it through. It actually goes through the Elastec pretty good. So I just pushed it right through, and then I'm going to slide the strand of silicone through, just kind of get it sort of even, and then I'm just going to pull it back through. And I want it to be sticking out about the same distance on each side. So there's one, and I'm going to put like probably 6 strands through this piece of plastic, and I'm going to have a bait. So they're a little bit tedious to make. That's why they're a little bit expensive to buy. You know, they take a few minutes to make each one, but they're worth it. There you go. There's a finished little bait. Finesse as it gets, but you know, a lot of the places now, you know, the fish get pressured, they get a little bit harder to catch, and you gotta show them stuff that they haven't seen before. So that's, you know, very similar to like the marabou jig, I think, where it's just like a after dinner mint. It's just something small, you shake it in their face and they're probably gonna eat it. So it's just a little bit better. Like I said, we're drop shotting it, and it's just a little bit better to get down in that deeper water maybe than the marabou is. So that's just a little number 1 Gamakatsu G Finesse drop shot hook, really sharp, strong, small hook. So, you know, you wanna be using a light rod. I'm using one sort of designed for drop shotting, and it's really soft, and you're not gonna tear that small hook out, but it hooks them better than you think, so. When you set the hook with that drop shot, you don't have to pull too hard. That little hook, it's razor sharp, and you just kind of pull into them more than really snap it. You just kind of gotta baby them and go easy, and they stay on there better than you'd think. All right, here we go. Just like that. Look at that. That's it. You get these smallmouths that are hard to catch. The drop shot's deadly, and that's my new kind of favorite bait, that sort of style of bait. And it's kind of fun when you make something and it works, but this, you know, it's pretty cool. All right. So one of the things you want to always be aware of when you're drop shotting is your knot. Make sure it stays straight. Sometimes when you catch a fish, it'll get pulled over to the side. I tie a Palomar knot to tie it on, and then put the tag end back through the top of the hook down. I like the weights that you can tie on versus the clip-on ones, because the clip-on weights, a lot of times the fish will come up and jump and you just lose them. So the tie ones that seem to be better, and then yeah, that's it right there. But you want that hook nice and straight, and the bait's gonna look a lot more natural when it's in the water. There's a few more of them up there too, so we'll see if we can get another one. One's considering it. Anytime you're using a drop shot too, one of the one of the things to sort of keep in mind is it's hard not to want to like really shake your rod. The more you can just kind of just let it hang down there. I'll shake it a little bit, you know, just make that bait quiver, but I'm not really wanting to do it a whole lot up and down. And you can see I can drop it and leave a little slack in it, and that Elastec's nice because it floats, so it's not gonna sink to the bottom, you know, it stays up there. One got it. Oh, pulled him off. I kind of had a little bit more tension than I wanted in my line there, but there, another one got it. Got him. And then it's crazy, they just come right up and jump. All right, come here, you little rascal. You know, I just sat here for 15 minutes and threw a few different baits at them, and they followed them and chased them. That flutter spoon is really good when a lot of times when these fish are out on these deeper spots, but they get pressured a little bit, or just, you know, the day sometimes with smallmouths, it's just the day and they're not in the mood. But sometimes you just got to bust out the finesse.
You know, you mentioned the people.
Yeah, I got one. Oh man, it's fun. You know, with like the tournament fishing and what I'm doing, you really gotta stay on top of the new trends and cutting edge stuff. And if you don't, you just kind of get left behind. So this is just sort of a hot twist on a drop shot rig that's obviously pretty effective, and I've had to add it to my arsenal this year. I definitely weighed a few fish on it at some of the smallmouth tournaments later in the year, but look at that beauty. That's awesome. I think that little hook doesn't get them, but it just gets right in there, and you really don't lose a lot of them. You just want to make sure you use a light rod. If you use too heavy of a rod, you're gonna tear those little hooks out of their mouth, but that's a beauty right there.